be open. And if it's your will to open it, then why do you wait for me to knock in order to open it? Mystery, huh? Why doesn't He just open the door? What advantage does our knocking give God? Prayer mysteries. So after we've asked the second set of questions, we've all asked them. I know I have. I've gotten into prayer and I've confused myself with the questions that I ask. If you know that, I know that you know that I know that you know, but if you know that I know that you know, then why do you know that I have to do that? Oh, let me back that up. I can confuse myself. But since God's will is to open the door for you and I, and since opening the door is in accordance to righteousness, will God nevertheless open the door if we don't knock? Okay? I don't want to lose you. If opening the door is the will of God, and if opening the door is in accordance to His righteousness for us, will God open the door if we don't knock? No. Or would He rather have His will and righteousness delayed without accomplishment in order to wait for our prayers? Will He really allow His will, the opening of the door, to be restrained by our not knocking or praying? If so, will not the will of God be limited by us? Think about that for a minute. Talking about the questions. Can God's will be limited by you and I? Thus, is God truly Almighty? If He is Almighty, then why can't He open the door all by Himself? Why instead does He need to wait for me to knock if He's Almighty? These are questions that I have asked. These are questions that I have had. Is God truly able to accomplish His own will? But if He truly is, then why is His opening of the door, God's will, governed by my knocking, man's prayer? Why is His will in opening our doors governed by our knocking or our prayers? You see, by asking these types of questions, we come to realize that prayer is truly a great mystery. But if we will look close enough, we will see the principle of God. The principle of prayer at work, which is this: God's people must pray before God Himself will rise up and work. That is the principle of prayer. God's people must pray before God Himself will rise up and work. God's will is only to be fulfilled through prayers. The prayers of those that belong to Him. God will not fulfill His will alone. He will perform only after His people show their partnership with Him through prayer. This is a partnership that we are in with Jesus Christ. He is in the heavenlies and we are in the earth. And God, from the very beginning, decided I need to create a man for fellowship. I want man to be my friend. I want to be in partnership with mankind. And because you are my partner, guess what, Adam? I'm going to give you dominion name them. Not me, but you. And I'm going to let you rule the land. And I'm going to let you rule the animals. And you're going to be in charge because we're in partnership. But I'm going to take care of the heavenlies and you're going to take care of the earthlies for me, partner. We were created to be God's partner. And so it is our partnership that allows us to loose and bind things. Listen to the scriptures. He said, whatsoever ye bind on earth, Peter, shall be then bound in heaven. You're going to do it first here. And after you do it, those prayers are going to allow me to bind them up here in the heavenlies. And then you're going to loose things on the earth. And then I will loose things in the heaven. He did not say, I will bind and then you will bind. I will loose, then you will loose. He said, you will do it first and then I will do it. Why? Because we're in partnership. It is the partnership that you bring forth the prayer and the supplication. And then it takes me from my throne room and it says, hold on, my partner needs my assistance. Amen. God will not perform alone. You wonder why you feel like you haven't had anything happen in your life? I ask you, when's the last time you truly talked to your partner? That being the case, then it can therefore be said that prayer is none other than the act of the believer working together with God. Prayer, man, that sounds good, doesn't it? God, I love that. Prayer is none other than the act of the believer working together with God. Prayer is the union of the believer's thought and the will of God. That's what that is. Prayer is the union of my thoughts and my desires and my requests and petitions of God and His will. Prayer which the believer utters on earth is but the voicing of the Lord's in the heavens. Prayer is not the expressing of our wishes for God to yield to our petitions and to feel our selfish desires. Nor is it the forcing of the Lord to change His will and perform what He is unwilling to do. No, prayer is simply speaking out the will of God through the mouths of believers. We ask in prayer, Lord, not my will be done, what? But Thy will be done. That is the Lord's Prayer. He said, pray that. Not my will, but Thy will. Why? Because God already knows what you and I have need of before we even ask. Prayer should never try to alter what God has already determined for you and I. Do you not think that He has the perfect plan for your life? Do you not believe that God can see next week and next month when you and I can barely get through today? Don't you realize that God is no respecter of persons? And so it doesn't matter where you are or what color of your skin or how much money you have. God is concerned and He wants to see you succeed in whatever it is that He has designed for your life. You might not be a movie star, but you might be a movie star winner. You might not be a singer, but you might be a praise or an altar worker. Can I tell somebody? You will only know that when you find a room of prayer. Amen. Prayer should only activate and help God to achieve in us and usher in what He has already planned.